The classic risk equation is that risk is equal to impact times likelihood. A lot of CISOs we've talked to have said, that's a recipe for hopelessness because we know that impacts are steadily increasing over time. Why are they steadily increasing over time? Because we as modern organizations are increasingly dependent on computer-based technology and computer-based communication and digital data in the conduct of our business. So the impact on our business of disruptions that are cyber-based or computer-based continue to get higher and higher over time because we're more dependent on those technologies. So impacts will always be on the increase, right? Likelihood is also going up because we have lots of organized attack groups. There's a trend toward the industrialization of cyber attacks where you have specialty companies that are working on attack tools to make the jobs of attackers easier. And so I think the likelihood will also continue to grow. So if you multiply one positive slope by another positive slope, it's not a rosy picture for risk. How do we reduce it, right? Well, we take that classic equation. There are really three factors there that you can reduce, and you can reduce both impact and likelihood by investing in your cybersecurity capability. Because all of the cybersecurity controls that an organization implements are actually a hedge to both impact, because some of the controls reduce the impact of cyber risk, and other controls reduce the likelihood of cyber risk by making it more difficult for the attacker. And so if we put capability in the denominator under impact times likelihood, then you end up with a curve that shows a diminishing return to scale as you increase capability, which is an accurate way to think about the role of classic cybersecurity controls or conventional cybersecurity controls on the risk equation. So the right place to think about capability is in that denominator. The other way that we can reduce risk is by transferring it. So that's on the risk side, right? And so insurance is a control that functions differently than the classic cybersecurity capabilities because it operates on the other side of the equation and actually takes the risk and transfers it to a third party, right? And so we think this equation is really important in getting your arms around cyber risk and thinking through specific scenarios about how cyber risk would play out in your organization. And for different scenarios, there are different things that you could do to reduce the risk to your organization from that scenario.
CEOs, and even more specifically CISOs, should look at the insurance industry more as a partner in understanding and treating and really solving the cyber risk challenge rather than just an industry that gives you a piece of paper that pays a claim at the end of a loss. And we say that and we believe that because it's really the only industry that has the ability to look at risk at the macro level during the underwriting process, correlate that with the losses, the claims, the incidents that get noticed as the industry that pays claims and losses from a function of the insurance policies that it sells. And I think that's the key element that's just starting to gain traction in terms of what role can the industry play. And if you think back historically, firms like Hartford Steam Boiler, Lexington, Zurich, they're firms that would arguably be the best property risk engineers in the world that you simply happen to buy your insurance from after they come through and tell you where to make strategic investments, how to improve your risk portfolio, and they do that based on that correlation analysis that I talked about before. So I think we're getting there from an insurance industry standpoint, but if there can be a more vibrant partnership between really entities in all industries who face cyber risks and the plethora of insurance companies that either do or will start to provide cyber risk insurance, that dynamic can be created and thus create, as we would call it, the risk engineering potential to help solve the cybersecurity challenge.